Christine Jorgensen, the pioneer spotlight. Christine Jorgensen, born George William Jorgensen Jr. in 1926, was one of the earliest trans women to gain mainstream attention. After serving in WDWOW, she traveled to Denmark in the early 1950s for rare hormone treatments and gender confirmation surgery. Returning to the U.S. in 1952, the media sensationalized her story, making her a public figure. She used her newfound fame to perform and educate, breaking barriers for trans visibility decades before it became widely discussed. Billy Tipton, jazz musician living in secret. Billy Tipton, born Dorothy Lucille Tipton in 1914, was a jazz musician who lived as a man from the late 1930s. Touring with his band, he kept his assigned sex a secret, often citing injuries to explain his appearance. When he died in 1989, it was revealed he was assigned female at birth, surprising many. His story highlights the challenges of living authentically in a time of widespread discrimination. Virginia Prince, the cross-dressing activist. Virginia. Prince, born Arnold Ullman in 1912, was a pioneering figure in transgender history, known for her activism and publishing. Starting in the 1960s, she ran Transvestia magazine, providing a platform for cross-dressers and early trans communities. While she lived full-time as a woman later in life, she often emphasized social and psychological aspects of gender rather than medical transition, creating both support networks and controversy within the movement. April Ashley, fashion icon and legal trailblazer. April Ashley grew up in wartime Britain, feeling aligned with a feminine identity but unable to express it openly. After gender confirmation surgery in Morocco, she became a successful model, appearing in Vogue and other major magazines. Her public outing by tabloids led to the loss of contracts and a landmark legal battle over her marriage, which denied her legal recognition as a woman for decades. Despite setbacks, Ashley remained a key figure in transgender visibility and activism. Caroline Cassie, model and advocate. Fighting for recognition, Caroline Cassie, born Barry Kenneth Cassie in 1954, began hormone therapy early and pursued a modeling career in London. She appeared briefly in a James Bond film and posed for Playboy, becoming one of the first trans women in mainstream media. After being outed by tabloids, she faced career setbacks but fought legal battles for recognition and authored autobiographies, helping normalize transgender identities in the entertainment world. Lily Elbe, early surgical pioneer. Lily Elbe, a Danish painter, was one of the earliest people to undergo gender confirmation surgery in 1930 under Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld in Wien, Germany. Her pioneering but risky procedures led to her tragic death in 1931. Though not widely known during her life, her story inspired later works like The Danish Girl, highlighting the dangerous early days of transgender medical history. Raymond Burr, Hollywood's rumored secret. Raymond Burr, famous for Perry Mason and Ironside, was a private man surrounded by rumors of being gay or transgender, though no solid evidence supports this. His story highlights Hollywood's culture of secrecy around LGBTQ+ identities during the mid-20th century, where speculation often filled gaps left by silence. Laverne Cummings, early Hollywood trans performer. Laverne Cummings, born Charles. Laverne Cummings in 1923 had minor Hollywood roles before transitioning in the 1950s. Though she never reached major stardom, she performed in nightclubs and live circuits, similar to Christine Jorgensen. Documentation on her life is limited, but she remains a historical footnote showing that early transgender transitions existed within Hollywood's orbit, despite societal challenges. Candy Darling, Warhol superstar and icon Candy Darling, born James Lawrence Slattery in 1944, was a key figure in Andy Warhol's circle and the 1960s New York underground scene. Known for her glamorous style and roles in avant-garde films, she openly embraced her femininity despite mainstream rejection. Her life was cut short by illness at 29, but she became an enduring queer icon celebrated in music and art for challenging norms. Marsha P. Johnson, Stonewall activist and community leader. Marsha P. Johnson was a Black trans woman and activist, central to the 1969 Stonewall Uprising, a catalyst for LGBTQ+ rights. She co-founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries to support homeless trans and queer youth. Known for her warmth and fierce advocacy, Marsha faced discrimination but left an enduring legacy as a visionary leader in the fight for trans and queer equality. Bambi Lake, flamboyant drag performer and trailblazer. Bambi Lake, born Robert Dwayne Ford, was a key figure in San Francisco's underground drag and cabaret scene starting in the late 1960s. Known for her flamboyant, comedic performances, she openly shared her transgender experiences and struggles, influencing queer entertainment by blending punk, drag, and storytelling. She remained a resilient symbol of authenticity until her death around 2019. Sylvia Rivera, fierce activist for trans and queer rights. Sylvia Rivera, born Ray Rivera in 1951, was a Puerto Rican-Venezuelan trans activist who lived on the streets of New York as a teen. She was a key figure in the 1969 Stonewall Uprising and co-founded the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries with Marsha P. Johnson. Rivera fought tirelessly for the inclusion of marginalized trans people within the LGBTQ+ movement, becoming an uncompromising voice for equality until her death in 2002. Lea DeLaria, trailblazing gender non-conforming comedian and actress. Lea DeLaria, born in 1958, is an openly lesbian, gender non-conforming comedian and jazz vocalist who broke barriers in the 1980s. Known for her sharp wit and bold style, she gained mainstream fame through her role as Big Boo on Orange is the New Black. While not transgender, her open challenge to gender norms expanded visibility and representation in entertainment. The Lady Shabby, Southern drag icon and memoirist. Lady Shabby, born Benjamin Edward Knox in 1957, was a beloved Black trans drag performer in Savannah, Georgia. She gained mainstream attention through the book and film Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, where she portrayed herself. Known for her humor and glamour, Shabby broke barriers for trans performers in the South and shared her story in her memoir before passing away in 2016. Toni Morrison, literary giant challenging identity. Norms. Toni Morrison, born Chloe Anthony Wofford, was a celebrated African-American novelist and Nobel laureate. Not transgender herself, but included here for her profound exploration of race, gender, and identity in her work. Through novels like Beloved and Song of Solomon, Morrison challenged societal norms and expanded conversations about marginalized identities. Vicky Lawn, LA drag performer and AIDS activist. Vicky Lawn was a drag performer and stand-up comic, active in Los Angeles during the 1980s and 1990s. Known for her sharp wit and political humor, she used comedy to confront social biases and support the LGBTQ+ community during the AIDS crisis. Beyond entertainment, Lawn's activism helped create safer, more inclusive spaces in LA's queer nightlife. Jackie Shane, groundbreaking trans soul singer. Jackie Shane, born in 1940 in Nashville, was a transgender soul singer who gained fame in Toronto during the 1960s. Known for her powerful voice and charismatic performances, she challenged gender norms openly on stage. Despite limited recognition in the U.S., Shane became a queer music legend, with her work rediscovered and celebrated in later years before her death in 2019. Andrea James, advocate, filmmaker, and transmedia pioneer. Andrea James emerged in the 1990s and 2000s as a key transgender advocate and media consultant. She co-founded Transgender Media to improve representation, worked on film and TV projects for authentic trans storytelling, and created educational resources on transition and self-acceptance. Her efforts helped open doors for more accurate and respectful portrayals of transgender people in mainstream media. Jacqueline Charlotte Dufresnoy, Cuccinell, European trans trailblazer. Jacqueline Charlotte Dufresnoy, known as Cuccinell, was a celebrated cabaret performer in 1950s Europe. After gender confirmation surgery in 1958, she became a media sensation, appearing in films and challenging legal and social norms around gender and marriage. Her activism and support for other trans women left a lasting legacy in European transgender visibility before her passing in 2006. The stories of these 19 individuals reveal that transgender identities have long been part of Hollywood's history, hidden, sensationalized, and often erased by society's refusal to accept them. From pioneers like Christine Jorgensen and April Ashley to activists like Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, their lives show incredible courage, resilience, and the complex paths taken to live authentically. Their struggles and triumphs laid the foundation for today's growing visibility and acceptance. As we look back, It's clear that understanding this history helps us appreciate how far we've come and how much further there is to go.